And we're live.
We're live.
Wow! Wow! Special episode.
So
Our first 106. 106! Yes,
We
yes.
are finally joined by Dooktails herself,
Dr.
or
Dooktails.
Sarah, Dr. Dooktails. So we have with us Sarah, who is, would you call yourself a ferret expert, or what would you call yourself?
I'm a ferret educator and advocate, really. I mean,
All right.
I love ferrets, so
Fair
maybe
enough.
a ferret expert. I strive to be one, but
Let's just call it a self-proclaimed ferret expert. How about that?
sure, I'll take that.
How about that? You know?
Sounds good.
But yeah, we're here today to mainly talk about these cute little creatures which she's holding right now. And I believe you said it's a her, right?
Yeah, it's her. It's a she, and her name is Coda.
Coda.
So-
Hi, Coda.
I study music also, and we didn't know her name for a long time, but she has this cute little tail, and we didn't know what to call her, but I was writing some music one day, and I was writing Coda, which is the end of a piece, and every single time I saw her, her little tail was hanging out of something, like a cowboy boot or a box, and I was like, oh, her name is going to be Coda.
Interesting. So do you actually give thought to the names of your little furry friends right there? So that's pretty cool.
Ew.
I mean, because
I
we
do.
here, like, we name our pets the most, like,
Lucky boy.
lucky boy. Yeah,
I've had a
exactly.
boy. Goldie.
Bruce.
Yes,
Goldie,
Bruno.
Yeah.
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 I
But our
actually read-
horses are different.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
Our horses, we give them thoughtful, poetic names.
Oh.
Our horses and eagles, both of those two things, are usually
That's
given
cool.
very,
Your eagles.
yeah, we do.
Mhm.
Very Arabic, poetic, you know, like,
Do you know an eagle name?
one
No.
of my friends' granddad had a really, like, beautiful eagle. He named Hedba, which basically is what happens when an eagle, like, catches its prey, like, literally.
Wow.
I think so. Don't
Sounds-
quote me on that. I'm not too sure. It's a really strong Arabic name, and I'm not that good at
Fair.
Arabic. So.
Mhm. Fair. Mm.
You know,
Do ferrets hunt?
So actually, ferrets do hunt, and they are carnivores. So
Ooh.
they only eat meat. And so in other countries, so like the UK, they still use ferrets to do rabbit hunting. In the United States, where I am, that's actually illegal in most states. So
For
yeah,
illegal
a lot of people use
for
it
the
to hunt
ferrets?
rabbits.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Illegal, like they'll arrest the ferrets for hunting rabbits.
No,
So, well,
the people own
Ah, the
Come
ferret
on,
owners.
bro. Dude, when they're gonna put them in tiny little handcuffs and put them in like a tiny little, but that would be cute. That's like an Instagram picture right there. Let's be
I
honest.
mean, if someone wants to find me tiny little handcuffs, Coda, you've done enough to deserve to be put in little honey handcuffs.
Yeah. So, are they fun pets to keep? Like, who would you advise? Like, what kind of person would you advise to get a ferret as a pet?
So ferrets are really high maintenance, but they're really rewarding pets. So if you don't have a lot of time or patience, ferrets might not be for you. So a lot of times I would recommend getting like a cat or a dog. And they're very unusual, so their care is a little bit different than a cat or a dog. So you have to be willing to learn different things and willing to like adapt to being a ferret owner, basically. Also, they cost a lot of money. So they are technically in the United States considered exotic animals. So you can't really take them to a cat or a dog vet. You have to take them to an exotic animal vet. And a lot of vets here don't have a lot of experience with ferrets. So you actually have to do a lot of research, and you have to make sure you live like 30 minutes between, sorry, not between, but like near a vet, because when ferrets go downhill, their intestinal tract is only like it takes about 4 hours for their food to travel through their stomach. So when they have issues, they could go downhill in a matter of 4 hours. So
wow.
yeah, so they're very particular pets. I don't, like, a lot of people think they're small and they get lumped into the category of rodents, but they're actually not. They're more related to otters. They're in the big genus class Muselidae. And I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but
We're getting technical here. Hold
Yes.
on.
sorry,
Wait a minute.
ferret-
We're the doctor here.
I am a
I know.
doctor, so like I
mean-
do the research thing a lot. I'm sorry.
Don't worry. No, that's cool.
we love that.
We love the more information we have, the better this episode turns out to be. So,
Okay.
you're saying they're related more to otters.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, they're more related to like otters and badgers and mink,
Ooh.
and the polecat. So they're actually descendants of the polecat, the European, Siberian, and Ethiopian lineages of the polecat.
How do you spell pole, like P-O-L-E?
Polecat. Yeah. So, and if you look up a picture of one, they look very similar, but that is the wild version of a ferret. A ferret is the domesticated version of a polecat. Oh, yep. There you go. See, look how cute. I don't know if you can see, but look how similar she looks.
Very. I mean, these are like the fatter version of your little girl right there.
Yeah. You can tell in the head. So they have a different head shape. And they have more muscle in their body.
I think their head's more round.
Yes. They have more muscle.
More elongated. Interesting. But yeah, you were right about them not being rodents because of their general size. I mean, if we look at the one you have right now, that's like an arm's length, basically, a forearm.
Yeah, but it's not just size though that like is like a rodent class. It's more like I think it's like a genus type thing. But I'm not quite sure. I'm not a biologist, so.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, they're definitely not. They're like they're tiny little carnivores.
I see.
Tiny little carnivores.
So why you can't take it to like a regular vet? It's more like a dog than it is like a lion. Why do you take it to like an exotic animal store?
Correct, it is, but it's still lumped under that exotic category. So
it's like they're at the vet store with like the tigers and like the giant turtles and whatever.
Yeah,
that ferret.
Yep. Exactly. And I think ferrets are the third most common pet here in the United States. And I feel like some of the care needs to be updated a little bit. So I feel like we're still kind of like in the old ways. And I feel like the care kind of needs to change a little bit. That's just my personal opinion.
Is it because of the vets can't deal with it? Sorry. Is it because the vets can like animals, or?
So a regular vet should be able to deal with a lot of animal issues, but the thing is they study, so they have to know a lot of information. I'm a crazy person and I read vet books about ferrets all the time because I have nothing better to do with my life. So I do that, but they have so much information that they need to know. They need to know how to do dog surgery. They need to know how to do cat surgery. And that's a lot of information. So think about like a medical doctor, like they study humans, right? And there's so many things that can go wrong with humans. Imagine having to study 2 different kinds of species or like 2 different kinds of animals. It's a lot of information. Typically,
is it more or less the same thing to cut out a cat or a dog or a ferret? No? I don't know.
No. Things are pretty different. I mean, I'm not a vet, so I can't speak to that, but I can say there's like some differences.
So I can say they are way the same as us.
They're way more.
They have the same organs.
No. I mean, like if you think like a cat and a ferret, right? You don't say like maybe like like they have generally the same organ areas. Yeah, you'd know like a vet would know how to deal with minor injuries of a ferret, probably, right?
I mean, they're a little bit different. Come on, Coda, what are you doing? Coda. And also the injuries might be a little different because cats have certain proclivities and they have maybe a certain type of injury that you see a lot. And so ferrets, they're the one kind of animal that doesn't really have like a self-preservation mechanism. So they just are literally trying to kill themselves all the time. So they're like, oh, what's this rubber object? Let me eat it and die. Or like, hey, look, this cage is like 5 feet tall. I don't have a lot of depth perception. Let me just jump off of it. So I feel like ferret owners are constantly trying to protect their animals where cats are fairly self-sufficient. And so with ferrets, if they do jump off something, even from a foot range of like 3 feet, they can get internal bleeding and and they can get internal damage basically. So there's a lot of different kinds of diseases that affect them and also a lot of cancers because they're pretty inbred here in the United States. We have a lot of mills that actually run everything that happens here. So that's kind of a problem too. We've got a lot of inbreeding going on and low genetic diversity.
Interesting. So would you say they're more of a cat kind of animal or a dog kind of animal in sense of like instincts and
is it more laid back and chill, or do you like walk it around?
So it depends on the pet, right? Sometimes you have really chill cats and sometimes you have really aggressive cats, right? Or sometimes you have really chill dogs and sometimes you have really aggressive dogs.
Disclaimer to our audience real quick. I don't like cats, just saying.
Okay.
I'm allergic to cats.
I'm allergic to them and I extremely hate them. Not to be confused with fear. I don't fear anything except spiders, but cats, no go for me. So tell me they're the same as dogs, please.
So they are actually like ferrets. So I'm actually not going to draw any comparisons because I don't feel like they're similar to ferrets, or like they're similar to dogs or cats.
Ferrets.
They're their own animal.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. But what I meant was in terms of taking care of one. Or is it completely like not the same as any of the two I just mentioned?
So, I mean, you can draw some similarities, but honestly, it's like taking care of a ferret. It's a lot different. So ferrets sleep on average 18 to 20 hours a day. So, and they need and they're not meant to be caged animals. So we have a cage only for emergency purposes. Like one time we had a gas leak and we had to move the ferrets to a different location. So they need to be in the cage to protect themselves if they're in a new location, because everything needs to be ferret proofed. And if you don't believe me, anything that they can stick their head in, so like maybe this tall by this wide, is a danger to them, because they basically just
get stuck.
They basically want to kill themselves at all times. That's kind of.
I mean, that's kind of dark to say. I'd rather just say they're very curious animals. Let's just.
They are, and actually they're super curious, and they actually are ranked like one of the top and smartest animals for problem solving ability. So they're actually smarter than dogs and cats for problem solving. And if you've ever seen, you've ever seen a ferret,
what's the smartest thing your ferret's done? What's the smartest thing? What's the smartest thing your ferret's done that you're like, wow, this ferret's smart?
Oh my God, everything. Mishka, okay, so I'm sitting on a little couch right now in my ferret room, and I actually have a camera in this room to watch the ferrets, just in case they do something and they get out. So I have a ferret-proof gate at the front, and what Mishka did, so Mishka's my youngest one, she's a very tiny little spitfire, and she drugged this entire couch like maybe 3 feet over, and then she jumped like 5 feet to the top of the gate and then climbed her little butt over in the middle of Thanksgiving.
It's like some
and all the family was like, stuff. Oh my gosh, what is that? And I was like,
It was hungry.
I mean, it's a ferret, I guess. So how long have humans kept them as pets?
So ferrets have been domesticated for about 2,000 to 2,500 years.
So very long is the answer. Interesting.
Yeah, cool. And there's some paintings of people like older people, not older, but like kind of almost ancient peoples with mink or like making different kinds of like ferret-like animals. So
it's been kept for a long time.
So wait, hold on. You said mink, right? And how do you spell that? I think it's with a K.
M-I-N-K.
There we go.
So that's also a relative of the ferret. You can kind of think of it as like a non-domesticated aquatic animal. Yeah, they're like the aquatic ferrets, and they're used for their fur. Like
mink.
Yeah, they're kind of like the cross between ferrets and otters. Coda, what are you doing? Come on.
I want to see the mink paintings, Ali. Can you find
They're very beautiful.
The old mink paintings.
Hold on, here we go. I think I found it. And okay, so here's one.
Yes, there you go.
Wow.
Yep. And
Airman,
that's right there holding.
Very muscular.
Mink. Yep. And then we have, I'm not sure if this is okay to see. Nope, this is not okay. How about this? I guess this is mink trapping. Yep. I mean, they're hunting those, so.
So mink mink are normally used for their fur, which is really sad. And ferrets actually were used for their fur a long time ago. They called it fitch fur.
True. They have the
luckily, it's fallen out of favor, thank gosh. But
there's a little mustache, I guess. Okay, cool.
Would you like to see a different ferret?
Sure, let's go ahead and grab.
I think she's done.
The whole crew. Yeah, I think she got bored of us already.
I know. Oh, okay. So this is my little girl. This is little Mishka.
Oh, this is the smart one. This
is little Mish.
Hey there.
Oh, look at them. I guess. I mean, they look alike. How do you tell them apart? Like, no offense, I mean, but like. They all look the same to me. I could if you told me this was babushka and that one was something else, I would be like, yeah, it's cool.
So I'll explain a little bit. So the one you first saw was Coda, and she has a different kind of mask. So you can categorize ferrets based on their nose color, their coat pattern, their coat color, and a different type of mask. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to scruff her. And so scruffing just means I'm going to grab the skin on the back of their neck. You don't normally scruff all ferrets. Normally I do it for medical procedures or like if something is happening that's dangerous. So, but my ferrets trust me, so I can do this. But vets will also do this to kind of examine a ferret. So you just grab this, the scruff on the back of their neck, and they'll just kind of chill out. So ferrets normally are at 100% all the time, and now ferret is at 0%.
He looks like he's on a high trip. I'm sorry, but he looks like he's like stoned. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. My bad. I know people get offended by these stuff.
No, I don't. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
She likes to give me kisses, so see, she trusts me. You trust me. So aww. I'm going to scruff her again, but you can see her mask is a lot more variegated. Like she's got some very white and some very dark in her face. That's different than the other one. And she's actually called a sable. So this is kind of the coat pattern. This is very common for ferrets. I have one other ferret that's lighter. And then I also have some foster noodles that are elsewhere.
What's a foster
right
noodle?
now, but
a foster noodle?
Yeah, so I rescued a couple of ferrets last 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
Yeah. So we call them the fosters.
This is what her mask looks like. There you go. It's like a robin's mask.
That's true.
It is.
And her mask is
fun.
Perfect. Your mask is perfect, baby.
Yep.
Oh, oops, sorry.
That's cool.
No worries.
It's fine.
I want to hear about you said you rescued some ferrets. What's that story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead. Oh, we're back. Okay. Yeah, yes. I rescued so I like to kind of monitor the channels like in my local area and I guess on Instagram. So I deal with some rescue situations, like both good and bad, and I deal with a lot of medical situations and a lot of medical advice online for ferrets. So I think it was about 2 weeks ago, there was like some stuff that popped up that was a little bit on the sketchy side, and someone in my ferret network online contacted me and was like, hey, I think these guys are maybe a couple hours from you. You might want to check this out. So I did. And so I went and I did assess the situation. I thought they did need to be picked up. So I did pick them up. And now they're like, with me, they've been in quarantine for 2 weeks. When you pick up rescue ferrets, you normally want to quarantine them so they don't infect your ferrets.
Wow.
With any kinds of diseases. And that gives you a good time for them to like chill and relax and kind of get used to a new surrounding type situation.
I see.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Awesome.
So
can they get?
Sorry.
Can ferrets get COVID? Is that?
So yeah, actually, so. There's not enough research out there right now to actually like give a good, really thorough answer to this, but the answer is yes. But the the general advice is it's not anything serious right now. So ferrets are susceptible to various diseases that humans are. So they actually use them for flu testing. So the flu vaccines are actually tested on ferrets because they have something called an ACE2 receptor, like humans have. So they have a similar kind of makeup to humans. So that's why they use them for testing. So the MERS and the SARS virus, which are related to COVID. Yes. So the I believe the SARS virus was actually kind of affected ferrets a little bit more. The MERS did not. And then this is actually the SARS-2 virus. And so we were actually originally very worried about this affecting ferrets in a very negative way. And it looks like through studies that it kind of gives like a similar kind of thing to humans. So what it does, but not to a dangerous extent. So a ferret can get lethargic with COVID. It can have a temperature, and it can be basically, you just have to make sure it's got fluids for the 2 weeks. But a lot of times, like there's so far as of now, and these things can all change because science is like a constantly evolving thing, especially since we don't know much about it right now. Yeah. But basically, yes, they can get it. Is it lethal? Not really. You just kind of have to do a little bit of supportive care in case it does happen. And we basically use a flu protocol because the ferrets can get flu from humans. So if I was sick, I could give my ferret the flu. And so what we do is just make sure you wash your hands when you have to feed them, see if someone else can take care of them, kind of situation. So we just do the flu protocol just to prevent any kind of thing that happens because we don't know enough right now.
I mean, yeah, that's
I didn't realize your pet can get sick from you. Like if you're sick, Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like your pet can also get sick. I've never thought about, and sometimes.
But then again, in our parts of the world,
barrier is broken down with ferrets.
in our parts of the world, we really don't consider these kind of factors about welfare and healthcare of these pets, which is, you know, I don't see it as exotic, to be honest. Like a lion is exotic. In our parts of the world, eagles are not considered as exotic. Neither are camels, you know?
Wow, yeah.
So it's like,
I mean,
I guess, but is it, where would you say they are native to? Like what region of the world?
You know.
So the polecat is normally like native in the UK. So you might see a wild polecat over there.
Wild polecat from the ancient times. Yeah.
But
Okay,
like
and what
domesticated
about, like,
ferrets don't exist in the United States like in the wild. So if my ferret was to go outside for maybe 5 minutes, their curiosity would literally kill them in less than 5 minutes.
Wow. Yeah,
I mean,
do you walk the ferrets out on like a leash? Nice.
I do. Callie is one of our best PR noodles. Would you like to see her?
Yes.
sure. Let's do
Okay,
it.
we'll show you Callie. You might be able to tell the difference between her because she's like a champagne color, so she's a lot lighter.
I see.
Callie, she's my big fat chunky noodle. Come here, baby. I know you're sleeping. I know you're sleeping. So this is Callie.
Okay,
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can
She's
see
big
it.
and chunky.
I
Do you
can
see a
see it.
difference? She's a little
Yeah, I
lighter.
can.
Yes.
She is, especially around the face.
Yep.
You know? But yeah.
So she has the same kind of mask as the other two do, but she has a lighter color.
Interesting. And does it not get darker over time, or does it just stay this color for the rest of its life?
So that's actually a really good question. So a couple of things about ferret patterns do change. So their coat does change between summer and winter.
Wow.
So you'll see that they have a couple different kinds of fur. So if I just brush up, you can see the nice cream color is an undercoat. And these longer, darker furs are called guard hairs. So in the wintertime, they'll bulk up and they'll get some nice, I know, baby. They'll get some nice long guard hairs and some really thick undercoat. And it's really beautiful. And their nose patterns also change over time too. So you can see a ferret's coat get darker or lighter over a couple of years. And you can also see their nose color change. She has a nice, beautiful spot in the middle of her nose, but hers is pretty pink. But the other girls, I think Coda's has gone from like a dark, like a blacker nose to like a speckled nose over the last 4 years. So
interesting. So it goes lighter in the winter and darker in the summer, I believe, or is it the opposite way around? Or?
No, it just changes. It can be different for the ferret. So if you have like a white ferret, they can go a little bit darker. Like actually either way, it depends on also like if they're in season or if they're neutered. Like there's a lot of different factors that can contribute to like coat color change, but it really is just dependent on the ferret. Sometimes they go lighter, sometimes they go darker.
No.
Coda
Is it ever a mood thing? I don't know.
Sorry, so what?
Is it ever a mood thing? Like they just feel like, I just want to go lighter this year, you know? Or I want to put on
brilliant.
It
I
would.
wish they had like a mood indicator, like a color mood indicator. That'd be amazing.
That's some Harry Potter type shit right there.
Yeah, how do you tell
How do
their
I tell
moods?
their moods?
Yeah.
They have so many moods. So with the new foster noodles coming in, Mishka, like they have kind of a dominance thing going on. So like it's kind of like a pack of wolves. You know? They have a hierarchy.
Oh.
Interesting. And
Okay,
Mishka is your alpha one, right? Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
So Coda is actually our alpha, and then under her is Mishka, and then Callie's at the bottom. But with the new foster noodles coming in, they're starting to get territorial because they can smell them.
And who decided who came in what order?
Is it like a fight to the submission, or how do they do it?
So yeah, it's so a lot of vet books will say that ferrets actually don't have a hierarchy, but I believe that anyone who actually has ferrets looks at it and they're like, my ferret. So what they do is they scruff. So they'll scruff like I grabbed Mishka from the back of the neck, and they'll pin them to the ground and then they'll drag them around. And that's basically saying like, hey, I'm above you. I make you submit to me. And that's kind of giving them that hierarchy. and it can also embarrass the ferret. So if your
Oh.
ferret, they might cry. They
Oh.
might get really upset. They might what we call it is flat noodling. So they'll take their body and they'll just like roll across the floor and like turn into like little flat noodles or speed bumps basically. And they'll like stare daggers at you and be just like, I'm so upset, mom. And so they'll be really embarrassed. It's actually kind of funny.
I mean, it's kind of funny, but it's also sad, you know.
It's kinda
like,
sad.
aw.
It is.
Poor,
It is.
poor
So like
little,
someone
what's
has
his
to come to their
name? Or
place.
her?
Sorry, what?
What's his name?
Poor little, who's the one that's at the bottom of the whole thing?
Callie. She was the big
Callie?
chunky
Oh
one.
no, Callie. Yeah. Oh.
Poor Callie.
She's
I mean,
just lovey and dopey. She's happy being at the bottom. So
you're right about Dopey.
she is very
Honestly,
dopey.
That's funny.
like when you held her, she was just like, you know.
I know. She's just like,
funny as
I just
hell.
want to go back to sleep.
They have
so
different
funny.
personalities. So
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They have very different personalities.
That's fun.
Interesting.
Mhm.
And like, can you describe their personalities and their differences in? So one was lovey and dopey.
Yes.
I'm guessing
Uh-huh.
the other one is like very
That.
mischievous and up to no good all
Mishka.
the time.
Yep, Mishka is getting into trouble constantly. She is my little mischievous girl that keeps me on my toes. And then Coda is the alpha, and she is a diva.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So she's a little princess. She's a little pampered princess, and she thinks she rules everything.
I've noticed they're all like female. Do you have any like male ones or, you know?
I do. Well, I mean, I don't have any males in my business,
Mm.
but I
see.
can show you the foster noodles. We're fostering a boy right now and a girl.
Interesting.
If you'd like to see
And,
them.
I mean, let's
Okay,
go ahead
yes,
and do
let's
that.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
let's.
Okay. Would you
Alright,
like me to bring the camera with me, or do you want me to bring them in?
Whatever
okay,
makes
let's
you
do-
more.
Whatever's easier for you and more natural.
Yeah.
Okay,
Whatever's-
let's bring the
We
camera.
want to see the ferrets,
Ooh.
yeah, in their natural
Okay.
environment.
Okay,
That's not
so
the
my
natural-
girls have an entire
That's true.
room to themselves. So
Oh, wow.
they have their own bedroom because ferrets aren't really meant to be caged animals.
I see.
Yeah, so they're normally free roam in the household. But with the foster noodles, that's a different story right now. So we just got
They're
them used to a
quarantined.
cage. Yeah, so they're just coming out of quarantine. So they were actually in a pen before because their owner originally kept them in a cage, and they were very upset to be in the
Oh.
cage, and we didn't want them to be in there because it made them upset. So we've fixed the cage because they can't walk on wires. It actually destroys their toes and can break bones in their body or deform them. So Callie has that problem because she's a rescue as well. Most of my ferrets are rescues. And so these guys, we had to put linoleum tiles on the bottom of their cage. We fixed their cage up. We put lovely fleece stuff everywhere so they're nice and comfy. And right now they're sleeping. So let's go take a look at them.
All right, we'll try our hardest not to make any sounds and wake them up.
Oh, it's
I mean,
okay.
that's-
Aw.
I'm going to go ahead and lower you guys. Let's see.
Aw.
Can
Hey,
you
buddy.
see them?
Yeah, I can see them sleeping over each other.
They're
up, little dude?
sleeping. Oh. There
Did
we
they-
go.
Oh,
So the
and this
boys
is how
on
they
the bottom
sleep,
and the
yeah?
girls on the top. They're just chilling.
I guess.
Yeah.
That's
So I'll
So
go
the-
ahead
Mhm.
and grab them. So the boys are a lot bigger than girls. So I'll show you that right now. Okay, babies. Let's come out and let's see. How a
I
little girl.
guess
I'm
that's
sorry, I know you're
nature
not
for you.
How little boy? I know. It's okay. It's okay. I know. I know you guys are sleeping, but we're gonna do a little hello. There we go. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Hello.
He's huge.
And
And
what's
if you
his
look at her,
name?
she's tiny. Well, he doesn't quite have a name yet. We've been calling him Possum because he looks like a little possum.
Awesome.
He does.
But when we rescue ferrets, we like to give them a lot of time to like come up with a name.
How
So
about
I want to
King?
like a good name that comes with their personality, you know? Oh, you're a
I think-
sweet princess.
I suggest the name King just because
King? Okay.
that's
What do you
think
that's
about
good at
that?
like you want to be called King. Soon rise the hierarchy and take over. What's the one on top now? I'm sorry, I'm bad with names. Mishka, I think, is the one on top. Yeah.
Coda and then
Ah,
Mishka,
Coda.
yeah.
Koda and then Mishka. So Mishka's the one that's like on the top of the pyramid.
So it's funny,
Coda.
I've been observing this guy for a long time. He's actually a really submissive ferret.
Oh no! Come on,
Yeah.
he was supposed to lead the rebellion.
Nope, the girl is the most dominant ferret. This little girl right here is the most dominant ferret I've ever seen, actually.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's actually, she's the tiniest ferret, and she's going to be the queen that rules the roost. If she joins my business, she will be number one.
So then
This
call her
boy will
Cersei
be on the bottom with Callie.
or Daenerys. I don't know.
I see.
One of them. I mean, she might as well. But here's what I want to know: how did you get interested in ferrets? Like, how? Like, is there a backstory here, or like, is it just because you know?
So I've been obsessed. So I think we got a first home computer when I was in kindergarten, and I saw a picture of a polecat, and I was like, or a black-footed ferret, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is that? It's the cutest thing I've ever seen. And so that kind of carried with me my entire life. And I, just like you, I'm allergic to cats, and I'm allergic to dogs. And even though I grew up with dogs, but I am not allergic. No, only a little bit, but not enough to like keep me away from them. So someone up there was like, I'm just gonna make her a crazy ferret lady.
Here you are.
And here I am. And look at this boy. Look how sweet he is.
He's just cuddling. I like that. See, if they were all like this, I wouldn't mind keeping one. Mm-hmm. But I'm a person who doesn't even have time to, you know, take care of myself, let alone another living creature, you know?
Yeah, but like, ferrets are a pain in the butt too sometimes.
So someone's getting jealous. I see someone's getting jealous over there. Yeah, he's just like, hey, yo.
Let me out. Yeah.
She's still in training, so she has a little bit of a biting problem, so we're working with her right now on that. So I don't really want to bring her out just in case she starts to like, you know, bite, and then I have to discipline her. I don't want to do that in front of a whole bunch of people.
How do you train?
How do you? Yeah. How? What's the process of training one?
So it depends on the ferret. Normally, you don't use disciplinary action for ferrets because they are more receptive to positive reinforcement. So it depends on what the action you're trying to correct is. But biting faces and stuff like that. Normally, ferrets, like when they tell each other to back off, they'll hiss at each other. So they'll kind of do it. It's kind of a ferret hiss. So I have mine perfected.
I can see that. But yeah,
I mean, that it only works on ferrets and not on your colleagues.
Oh,
it works on the ferrets? So like if you do it to your ferret, it'll back off?
Yeah. So basically what it means is like other ferrets. So a hiss can mean a bunch of different things. It can mean, hey, come play with me. Or it can mean back off. I'm scared right now. Or back off. What you did is not okay. Mm-hmm. I don't like this. Oh, thank you, baby. Got some kisses. So I use my hiss as kind of a warning. And then I also reinforce it with the word no. So they learn the human word, and then they associate it with like the kind of ferret kind of translation, I guess, for that kind of thing. So that's something I do incorporate, but most of the time we use positive reinforcement. So when they do something you do like, so Mishka came from a abusive household. So when she first got in here, she would bite and there was just blood everywhere.
Oh no.
And so when she did something like unlatch her mouth, when she wasn't biting, we would reward her for that. And then she learned that not biting was a good thing. And then you just keep going from there, you know? Amazing. So I work with abused ferrets and stuff as well.
Oh, wow. Why would people abuse them? Like, what's the deal? Why did they do that? Is there like a specific reason, or?
I don't know. I can't tell. I honestly,
yeah.
I don't know. But I think a lot of people just don't know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they're not educated with the animals. So like, they don't know if your ferret bites, you're not supposed to like hit it, or like, you know, like that would never help the ferret. The ferret would just want to bite you more. Like what you do is you reward it when it's not doing the behavior, you know, that's negative. Yeah. And that's kind of counterintuitive for a lot of people.
True. I want to...
Hi, little boo.
You mentioned that like it knows the word no. So does it know like other words? Like does it know its name? Does it know if you tell it something?
Oh, no, they know their names.
Oh, they know their names. Okay.
So this guy doesn't know his name yet because we haven't given him a new name. Mm-hmm. Normally when someone surrenders a ferret, we give them a new happy, like, lifetime name, you know? Are you going to kiss me?
I see.
No, he's just going to stay for me.
That's cool. So the process of teaching them their names, is it just by, you know, calling them over and over again, and every time you get their attention by using their name, It's like a rewarding. And how do you reward them? That's what I want to know. Like, is it like a snack or?
Yeah, so I actually just started a company called the Pampered Ferret, and we actually make treats for these babies, and we use salmon oil as a treat. We also use like dried meat or organ blends for them as treats.
Okay.
To reward them for behavior.
Organ blends as treats? What are organ blends?
So ferrets are carnivores, right? They only eat meat, and
I see.
So we have a blend of like chicken gizzards, chicken hearts, thighs, and breasts. So, and those are kind of one of the treats that we make for these amazing babies, like to reward them. And so you asked about calling them by their names. So with repetition and calling them by their names, you also have to make sure, what you doing? Make sure that you give I always do a visual and a sound cue as well. So if I'm like, Coda, come here, I'll be like, Coda, and I'll tap the ground and be like, Coda, come here. And because a lot of ferrets can be deaf, so there's two patterns of ferrets that are have something called neural crest disorder. People call it Waardenburg syndrome, but that's actually the human equivalent, but it's actually called, like in the medical text, neural crest disorder, and it has to do with like some things that just weren't hooked up right, and it means that basically a lot of them are deaf, and it corresponds to coat patterns. So this guy is really light. He looks like Callie, but if you see ferrets that have an all-white head, those are called panda. That's a panda coloring.
I've seen those. I'll pull up a picture right now. So.
And a lot of those are deaf. And then there's also another pattern called a blaze, and that'll have a little stripe going down their back. And those are also linked to neural crest disorder, those pattern colors, so they might be deaf. So I always like to do a visual cue and a sound cue and a vibrational cue. So that's why I hit the ground when I want my ferrets to come to me, just in case they go deaf. Yes. Pandas. So you see the ones with the white head. And if you look up a blaze, it has a little stripe.
A blaze
ferret. So do I type blaze like up here?
Blaze ferret pattern or blaze ferret.
Blaze ferret colors. There we go. Let's
go.
Check it out. All right. So.
Yes.
So there we go.
There you see the stripe on the back of the head and on the face.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, I see. Amazing.
And you can also see the wide set eyes. So if you look at that first picture right there that says blaze colored ferret, like see how he has the wider set eyes and then the thing that goes down the forehead? Yeah, that's one of the ferret. Yes, that guy right there. So you can tell he kind of has a neural crest kind of thing, and he might be deaf.
You just said he, which is interesting. So how did you know that that's?
Is it a he?
I mean, I don't know. I was gonna ask you, how did you know it was a he, or are you just?
I honestly don't know. It was a slip of the mouth. It was a slip of the tongue.
Okay. No,
he just kind of looks like a he, but it might be a girl. You should test me.
I mean, sure. You want to do it? Let's. What's this? What is its gender?
Let me see. Ooh, I can't actually tell on that one because actually it looks kind of like a girl. You look like a chunky girl, maybe from another country. Yeah, that looks like the UK ferret.
I guess so. Yeah,
they're bigger.
I don't know.
I guess so.
I'm no ferret expert, you know. But what about this one right here?
That's a ferret from the United States. For
what?
sure, the body stuff.
How do you know it's from the United States?
So there's one mill that runs the entire, like it has a monopoly on everything in the United States, and it's called Marshall's Farms, and they're kind of a bad company. And so they neuter their ferrets basically at birth. And that's a cruel practice. Normally ferrets should be neutered about a year old, just like dogs or cats, so they have a chance to grow. And so when you see a ferret from the UK, Russia, China, they're a lot bigger. They're like the size of large cats, like maybe like a significant number of pounds. So this guy is tiny, compared to ferrets in the UK. They are huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Marshall's Farms has a monopoly on ferrets in the United States, Canada, and Japan. And they're doing terrible things for ferrets. And also they developed something called adrenal disease because of this neutering. Basically, their hormones are like raging because they don't get to grow to their appropriate size, and then they die early. So ferrets should actually live to be over 10 years old, and these guys maybe live to, technically the vet books say 5 to 8 years old, but it's been younger than that because of the neutering. So it's kind of like getting a puppy from a puppy mill, but you can only get ferrets from the ferret mill. And that's why I always say adopt, please adopt, don't shop there. You know, so, and they also produce all of the lab animals for testing and stuff. So
wow.
So there's actually been a shortage of ferrets recently because they're using them all for COVID testing.
And they can reproduce themselves because they're all neutered, right?
They're all neutered at birth, yes.
That's
and
not right.
I know.
Imagine, right? Like you can't get cats except from a cat store, and they're all neutered. Like
exactly.
Cats,
so I mean, but
they're animals.
Yeah, there is one reason for that though, for the females. So for a male ferret, like, and for the females, they should be neutered around 1 year old. But when you have a Jill, which is a female ferret that's not neutered, if they go into heat, they will die. If they don't get a hormone replacement, or if they don't, you know, do their thing. So they will die. And that's partly part of the reason. And then the other part of the reason is to keep that monopoly.
Yeah, exactly. But not at birth, you said, right? Like, maybe
exactly. At birth, literally, they are just babies, and they're ripped away from their moms, and like, they have really bad habits when they come to new owners that don't know how to deal with it. Like, they'll bite each other's ears because they're trying to suckle on their mom, but they don't have a mom. And it's just, it's a really sad kind of state that's going on here with these ferrets.
Sorry to hear about that. Just,
is there other things you can do to make it like better? Like,
it's just really adopting the ferrets that need to be adopted, you know? So it's really just that. And I'm trying to fight the good fight. I'm trying to get in there. I'm trying.
A2 the show. A2 the show has your back at all costs.
How do you find a ferret if I want to adopt a ferret or something? I mean, I wouldn't, you know, if someone wants to adopt a ferret. That's a really good question. So at least here, there's a lot of ferret rescues that are listed on the American Ferret Association website, or if you Google your local area and ferret shelters, or if you call someone who knows something, or just like send me a DM on Instagram. I'll put out the word and be like, hey, someone's looking for a ferret in Chicago. Like, they have wonderful rescues there, or like, we can even do international people. If you're outside of the United States, you can probably find one from a breeder, which is probably like the best way to go. Okay, Bubby, I know you're getting tired. I'm gonna put you back, okay?
It's fine. Yeah, you could. Let's let the guy go back to his sleep.
Look how cute he is.
I mean, very, very, very
cute.
His
His paws are like bigger than my fingers.
Oh, wow.
Do you see this paw? Let's see. Look at that paw right there. And I have harp hands. I play the harp. So I have like huge basketball lady hands.
I mean, I'm no shy to these kind of things myself. I got huge, you know, Arab hands, which are not really surgically preferred, but you know.
Yeah, for surgery. That's funny.
It is what it is, right?
It is what it is.
There we go. So, how do they do with music? Because some pets, like when you play music, they're just like stunned, you know, and some of them actually do enjoy listening to. So how do they do with music whenever you play, like you said, the harp, which is, I think, amazing. But what is their like general reaction?
So Coda loves it. And she actually tries to climb in the harp, which is bad because there's a lot of moving parts in there. But she'll kind of lay down at the base of the harp and just likes the vibrations on the floor. I do play music for them sometimes when the storms are really bad. Mishka used to be really sensitive to sounds. I think it had something to do with her rescue situation. So it depends on the animal, you know. Sometimes they love music and sometimes they hate it. So what are you doing, baby?
It's interesting, man. Dude, in my apartment in Jordan, because I play the guitar, so I was once playing Stairway to Heaven just on and on. As soon as I walked out to because I'm on the ground floor, so I walked to the balcony, which is still on the ground floor, and I see like a bunch of cats, like right huddled up to the window, not the window, it's like a sliding door.
Hear you play Stairway to Heaven?
Stairway to Heaven, bro. I'm just like...
That's wonderful. Yeah, animals.
At first, I was like, why are they here? And then every time I played it and I go out and I look at them and I'm just like, oh, that's why. Cool. So it's really interesting how animals react to music because it's like sounds they've never heard in nature, you know? I wonder. But it's good to know that some like it and some don't.
Can they sing? Can ferrets sing? No.
What?
Ferrets are actually a pretty
Some
silent
animal
animal.
thing. Yeah, I don't know.
They make a couple sounds. One is called duking. They make it when they're really happy, and it kind of sounds like a little cluck. They go kind of thing.
Duking.
There's also like and then most of the other sounds are bad, like hissing. Well, hissing can be good or bad, and then there's screaming, which is really bad. Go to the vet immediately type situation. So they're actually very quiet animals, and it can be kind of scary because sometimes you can't find them.
Screaming.
Yeah, they're not like a dog or a cat. They don't bark. They don't meow. They don't scratch. I mean, they do scratch a little bit, but not like that.
You can't hear them around. Wow.
I mean,
No, you can't hear them. They're like silent.
Oh wow.
Silent ferret. Where'd you get your name, Dr. Dooktails?
I guess from the word Duke.
Was it from
which
Duke?
is a happy sound.
It's a happy sound. So Duke is the happy sound, and Tails is like little ferret tails. But also, I don't know if you're familiar with the show Dooktails.
Dooktails, yeah, of course.
Woohoo!
There we go.
Yeah, and I am a doctor, so I am actually technically Dr. Dooktails.
Oh wait, you're an actual.
I did that.
You're
a vet.
You're a vet?
No. I'm not a DVM. I'm not a doctor of veterinary medicine, but I am a PhD. So I am a doctor of Dooktails, and my research skills go towards researching ferrets and doing the best things I can for them. I've been thinking of getting a DVM, but I also have a full-time job, so that's kind of hard. But I read vet books for fun, and I love research, and I love taking care of these animals. So
I mean, I honestly think you should. You've already, you already spend like most of your time with them. You might as well learn everything there is to know about them, Then you can be
the real expert. You become the real doctor.
There we go. I was just going to say that. Yeah.
So there are a lot of really good DVMs out there already, doctors of veterinary medicine. But the thing is, I think my passion might lie more in solving the big systemic problems with ferrets, like the ferret mills and the food problems. So I might go and get another degree or hire a lot of really great lawyers. So I'm working more that angle right now. So I'm trying to see like what the best thing I can do. Could I get a DVM and be like, oh look, I'm good at ferrets. That's great. But like, I also really want to I want to solve the bigger issues. So I'm trying to see where I can put my resources and fix things for all of ferrets, because I've been educating people for a long time, and the problems still keep coming because the system is broken. So what I want to do is I want to figure out the best way for me to fix the system so these guys have a better life here.
Interesting. More power to you, obviously, and you have our full support. And this is why we're also mainly here, is to educate people on problems they usually don't think about or they usually don't know about, which is, as you just said,
an issue that was going on with ferrets. Yeah.
So it's a great thing that you've mentioned, and obviously adopt, don't buy from Mills. And so we have. Oh, sorry. You. Oh, look, he's asleep.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
Look at him. Well, we have reached our, part. Like, we've reached our timestamp. We are good to close it off. So,
okay.
Anything you want to mention? Anything you want to let the world know?
I think I talked your guys' ears off, and enough so that this guy fell asleep.
I mean, that's not me who's saying it, but no, honestly, no. This was a good episode.
This was an awesome episode. I learned so much about a world I didn't know about.
There we go. Yeah, which is our main target of every episode. So, anything you'd like to shout out? Anything you'd like to let the world know?
Oh, hello. I mean, I'm selling like wonderful handmade treats for these guys, and all the money is going to help solve those systemic issues for ferrets. I'm on Etsy at The Pampered Ferret, and I'm at Dooktails. If you have any questions about ferrets, I'd be happy to help.
Link in the description below to all of that.
Of course.
So if you've
my
watched
whole goal is to support these guys.
Pretty much. So
all right, like,
you've reached this part of the video.
Subscribe.
Like, subscribe, do that stuff real quick.
All that stuff.
Have you watched any of our previous episodes?
Yeah, I watched one. You had a girl with the headphones and stuff on a couple different types of animals. I just briefly looked at them. I didn't get through all of them. Though.
I mean, if you watch the ending, usually this is how we sign out. It's a salute to cover the cam, and peace.